Hi guys, Jessie Khaira here. I am so excited to share today's video with you. I'll be having a candid conversation with my good friend Sharon Taggar-Sekhon with Made in London Studios. Her contact information is in the description below. But without further ado, here we go. Yeah, we're just going to have a conversation about balancing it all and being moms and entrepreneurs and just trying to make it all work. So this is Sharon, who's Made in London, and as you can tell, not my typical setting. My flower wall is missing, but I am in Sharon's studio and getting my makeup done to shoot some YouTube videos. So we thought, what better way to have a conversation than, you can watch me get my makeup done. Maybe you'll pick up some tips and tricks as she's working.
Yeah.
But Sharon and I, we've known each other now for...
I'm gonna start.
Yeah, go right ahead. How long have we known each other? When did you start?
Okay, I started Made in London 2016.
And we met a couple years before that, right?
We met a couple of years before that. Yeah, so like say 2014.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's right after Akash was born.
Yeah.
But so Sharon started her own business, and I remember I just reached out and was like, congratulations, let me know if you need anything. And it just kind of picked up from there. And I find, totally random thing, but community over competition.
Oh yes.
Right?
Yes.
But I believe there's people that say they believe in community over competition.
But they don't do it.
And then there's people that actually are like community over competition.
Yeah.
But I have in years past, and if you haven't watched the Fall of Jessie Khaira video, make sure you go back and watch that.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, I'll see this. Yeah.
What's it called? So it's in there, and there's a lot of people, and I got a lot of hate for trying to build each other up and wanting people to start businesses and do things the right way. Because they're like, you're just creating competition. And it's like, well, they're going to start regardless. Mm-hmm. So what would you rather? But anyways, back to the topic at hand, balancing it all. So when you started in 2016, what do you feel were like some of the hardest parts?
Oh, okay. For me, it was the expectation because I was already in the industry before. And so I feel like people already knew. So for me, one of the biggest things was, the expectation. And then what happened with the expectation is it sort of led into, I have to perform. Like I have to be good to stand behind my own brand. So that was hard. And managing that I think managing the expectations of my family, of everybody around was a challenge.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that. Because I don't know if you've ever had this conversation with your mom, but I've so had this conversation with my mom.
Yeah.
She doesn't understand why I can't, why my husband's helping in the kitchen or why he's taking care of the kids.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, well, when you raised me, your job was to raise me.
Yeah, that was it.
That was it.
Yeah.
She, my mom stopped working, for health reasons, but my mom was always home.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it was like, she had time to have afternoon snacks made for us after school or bake or do this and that. And it's just, I feel that we, especially brown women, the expectations that our family, our extended family in society puts on us, it's crushing sometimes.
Oh yeah. I mean, so for me, it was sort of, I guess in the beginning, it was like, well, okay, you're going to stop now, right? You're going to go back to a 9 to 5. You're going to get all the benefits and you're just going to do a 9 to 5. And I was like, no, I really want to give this a shot. Like, I think I can do it. And so there was a few people who were very supportive, like, no, go for it. And then there were a few people who were like, no, just go back to normal, like 9 to 5. So it's definitely hard working with people's expectations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then actually balancing it all.
Yep. Balancing is hard. And honestly, I was thinking about this earlier. I don't even know if we've done a good job because you don't know.
Yeah.
We'll never know.
No, we'll know when our kids are 25.
Yeah.
That's when we'll know if we did a good job or not.
Bloody hell, I don't know.
Like how they treat people and how they are.
Okay, I go to therapy.
I go to therapy.
And
go to therapy. If you're not in
therapy.
therapy, go to therapy.
Yeah.
If you think you don't need it, you're the person who needs therapy.
Yeah. It's just so good just to go talk to somebody.
Yeah.
But it's like some of the things that come out in therapy, and I'm like, oh my god, and I come home and I talk to my mom about it, and my mom will be like, I thought I gave you the best. And I'm like, you did give me the best, but sometimes you just screw things up. So, balancing, it doesn't matter if you have a 9 to 5 or you're in this, but like, we'll never know the result of if we're balancing it right or wrong, ever. You know what I mean?
And do you think a person can have it all?
Oh my god, no. Straight up no. Nobody can have it all. I don't think so. There's always sacrifice. There's a limitation to your time. There is.
And I feel that there is a person can have it all, but not at all at the same time.
Yes. Yep.
Like you're gonna have to make sacrifices or give up things. Like, and it's having kids.
Yeah.
Is one of the hardest and most beautiful things you go through. And now Vera was only a year old, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So Vera was a year old when Sharon started, and I just remember you trying to build this new business while you've got this little 1-year-old who needs her mom. And a lot of people don't know this, but when I had Jeevan, so Jeevan was born at just over 33 weeks, so extremely premature. I had cleared my schedule for 6 weeks before her due date and 2 months after the due date. And this little bugger decides she's coming even earlier. She was born on a Friday. The Tuesday was Canada Day.
Okay.
And I remember on the Monday discharging myself from the hospital against the doctor's orders. TMI warning. I was freaking still bleeding like crazy. And they were like, we can't let you leave.
Just this way, sorry.
And I had to check myself out to go do this wedding. And I remember, so my milk hadn't come in. And so I'm trying to pump. And here I am, an hour and a half away from the hospital. And all I want to do is go back to the hospital, but I can't go back to the hospital because these people had booked me for their wedding like years in advance. Right? And I didn't know that I was going to have a baby. And then once I did get pregnant, like I didn't, like it was so long like before my due date. And I remember in that moment thinking, how the hell am I going to do this? And I feel like we just find it in ourselves and we give up a lot. And sometimes it's customer service that falls. And sometimes it's our families. A lot of times it's our families when it's the wedding industry.
It's interesting because, so like when Vera was little, I was like, she would cry and she'd go to Amandeep first. I remember taking her for a bride to the Bahamas. I took Sahana, my mom, Vera, and myself. There's 4 of us. Every night Vera cried for Amandeep. And I felt like I remember looking for flights. I'm like, let this guy fly out. I don't care. I can't deal with this because all she wants is her dad. Because he was the one who was there for her when I wasn't. So that kind of stuff is hard when you're trying to balance like your business and your family.
Well,
especially as females in this industry. So just look up.
But like when Jeevan was born, so when she was born early, I was like, okay, I might as well just do these jobs. And Vic stayed home on pat leave. And I'd go home. and I'd want to pick up Jeevan.
Yeah.
And she would look at me and she would start crying.
Oh!
Because I was this stranger.
Yeah.
And I cannot tell you how many times I would go into the bath. I'd put a smile on my face in front of anyone else.
Yeah.
And I'd go into the bathroom and I would just cry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I was like, what am I doing this for?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And especially when you had hard clients that thought they bought you and not your services and just weren't understanding.
Yeah.
And it's like, why am I doing this?
Yeah. Yeah.
But Jeevan is now 13 and she's still closer to her dad than she is to me.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm hoping one day that changes a little.
But I think that's okay too. Like, you know, they need their fathers. And I think it's actually, this whole thing of balancing is like, we can't do it without them.
No.
Like,
no.
You know,
I don't know how single moms do it, man.
Oh my God, no.
I do not. And if you're a single mom watching this, we bow down.
I don't know how you do this.
Because having a spouse and, you know, with Akash, I didn't, like, my mom came when he was first born, but with Jeevan, like, my mom really helped out.
Yeah.
But I can't even imagine raising children without support.
Yeah. Look this way.
And if you're a single mom that has a business and, like, holy mad props to you.
Yeah. And I honestly, it's like my mom's here, you know, I'm really grateful that my mom is around and she's there for the kids. Like this summer, if there's, you know, the kids are wanting to do activities, she's been the one who has been there to take them. And, you know, even if my husband's got work, like just having somebody else is super important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about internal work? I know you touched on therapy.
Yeah.
But like journaling and meditation and just doing internal work.
Okay, so I didn't realize that I had any problems. I just kept going. It's when the season stops and your body's just like, okay, the diversion isn't there. Then you're like, September, October, you're like, oh my God, like I have a whole ton of shit to deal with. And then that's when it's like, your body's telling you, okay, you need to work on yourself. Mm-hmm. So for me, during the season, I try to meditate if I can. Like, not even meditation, fine, but just like that 10 minutes of what did I do today? How was my day? How do I feel? Just that check-in.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do a gratitude journal. I find for me personally, I have a really soft line between gratitude and grief. So if I'm grateful for something, means it can also be lost. And so then I temper along that line really closely, and it's not easy for me. And then I try to do, okay, so I think I'm just going to try to find something. Yeah. Okay. So, okay, I find in our industry it's extremely stressful. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I go to a naturopath. And the naturopath was the one who said to me, she was like, your stress level is so high that your body doesn't know how to deal with the stress anymore. So what does that show in? It shows in weight. It shows in, you know, your desire to do anything. I had a party to go to last night. I didn't want to go. I'm exhausted. I've given myself emotionally and mentally to this business. And I don't want to go to a party and I don't want to talk to anybody. I just want to sit on the couch and Netflix and watch something. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that your body's always trying to tell you stuff. So you need to put something like, so either it's restorative yoga, or if it's like 10 minutes of meditation, or if it's walking outside in the grass, something to ground you in the busy season. Otherwise, you're like a kite just flying around. And you need to be grounded, especially in this industry. This industry is madness.
Yeah.
It's madness.
We, you know, a lot of people have businesses and they're self-employed.
Yep.
But there's a lot of emotion involved.
Oh, yeah.
In the industry that we're in.
Yep.
And it just makes trying to do it all and balance it all that much harder.
Yeah.
Because I remember my business was like booming in 2012, 2013.
Yeah.
And I wanted to have another kid.
Okay.
And my husband was like, you're going like this right now. Bringing another kid into the mix is just going to like make things harder. And I was like, no, I have it under control. I've got this.
Yeah.
Like I can do this. I have one out, like, just add a second one into the mix.
Yeah.
It'll be fine. I get pregnant. Have a gosh.
Yeah.
And shit went downhill really quick. And it literally started, like, my son went from the hospital to my warehouse before he came home.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because I had to meet a bride.
Yeah.
And I didn't have the boundaries.
Yeah.
Or not the confidence, but just the boundaries, because just like pretty much every other brown girl, we're raised to take care of everyone but ourselves.
Yeah.
And I had to make sure she was okay because it was her wedding.
Yeah.
Forgetting that I literally had a baby.
Yeah.
Within days. Like it was, and it went literally downhill from there. And I remember with Jeevan, my postpartum kind of was just, like I worked through it.
Yeah.
But with this one, I remember it was bad, and I'm not going to go into details just because, but it was really bad.
Yeah.
Bad to the point where my husband had to quit his job and stay home.
Yeah.
To take care of me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the baby.
Yeah.
That, a guy was loved, but Vic was like, "Are you sure you want to have a second one?"
Yeah. Yeah.
And it just. I was far from balancing it all.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
And
that's an August ship.
Yeah. But that is also when I started learning about CRMs and having workflows and automated email responses.
Yeah.
Like, I always say Akash has brought the lowest of lows.
Yeah.
But that's because he has, like...
Sorry, you're good. Interrupting.
But it's because of those lows.
Yes. Yeah.
That I was forced to look at what was really wrong. I was forced to make changes in my business so that I could be home.
Yeah.
And sorry, not sorry, but the brown industry, the Indian wedding industry, is the worst for workflows and CRMs and just having systems in place.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, that's our biggest pitfall. And I feel like we don't invest in ourselves.
Yeah.
Very few do. I remember when I started going to conferences, people were like, "What are you doing? Like, why are you wasting your money on this?"
Yeah.
But those conferences are the reason I was able to build what I built.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was why I was always a step ahead. Now, my downfall was every time I achieved something, because I was working on my internal stuff, that it was like, okay, what's next?
Yeah.
And had I just stopped there and rinsed and repeated, I would have grown much faster without all the heartache and the issues and burning out, essentially.
Yeah, so I'm going to pass over.
Yeah.
That was actually one of my big things when I started Made in London, was systems and processes.
Yeah.
I was so gung-ho on having a system and process if I have 5 clients or if I have 500 clients.
Yeah.
So that it doesn't fall through.
Yeah.
Like it's foolproof and it's there so that if I want to take a holiday, there's somebody.
Well, not only that, people want publicity. They want influencers to share their stuff.
Yeah.
But is your business set up to be able to take that influx of clients?
Yeah.
Like, if Oprah tweeted you tomorrow and you got 5,000 inquiries, would those inquiries sit there for a year, or would automatic responses with links to your services and how to book you go out? And that's something you need to think about, because I hear people be like, "Oh, I want to be busy, I want to do this, I want this," but it's like, okay, you want it, but what work have you done to achieve it? And don't think I'm sitting on this high horse, because I've had to do a lot of work and I still need to do more work. Because I feel like you should be tweaking, just like your contract every year, you should be tweaking it based on the lessons you learn. But we can't have everything without putting in the work and making sacrifices. And, you know, there's going to be someone who's like, oh, why should I have to make sacrifices? Or, Jessie, you say you believe in the law of attraction, and it's just because there's only one of me and I can only be in one place at a time.
Yeah, 100%. Actually, funny story. I remember going out this one time for dinner before a bride, and I ran into an older makeup artist, and she just looked at me. She was like, "You're going out the night before?" And I was like, "No, I'm here for dinner. I would never drink before a bride. Like, I wouldn't do that." I sat and so Amandeep and I went through that. Thursday night, I'd be like, I have to go to sleep, and he'd be like, but wait, no, let's go watch a movie. And I'd be like, no, I need to get up tomorrow morning at 3 a.m. Well, literally, there would be times when there'd be a party, he'd come home at 3 a.m. to take care of the kids, and I'd leave at 3:30. Like, you know, these are sacrifices you have to make. But, you know, saying that, that's our personal life that we have to do. But for professionally,
But that's balancing it all.
That is balancing it all. Yeah, you're right. You are right. Yeah.
Right.
What I mean is, like, I need to have a system in place for my business. The system has to work. So tomorrow you email us, or even if you text me, you WhatsApp me, it's directed to the email, because Pavan likes that. Pavan is like all about email. You will get a response within 12 hours. Sometime, and all of my brides, they're just like, Sharon, out of all the vendors, she goes, you have been the most responsive. She goes, I can pick up the phone and speak to you anytime. I'm like, but that's what I'm there for. Yes, I have my boundaries, but if you need to speak to me, once you're my bride, you're my bride. I am there for you. You're shopping, I'm there for you. Something breaks, I'm there for you. And I feel like in this new age of boundaries, it's great. People need boundaries. I'm 100% for boundaries, but also learn that you're doing something. Like, yes, makeup artists charge a lot of money, but we do so much. And we have to deliver so much. And so when I see my team going out and having to clean up other people's work, it frustrates me. Because I'm just like, you've entered this industry, know what you're giving yourself up to. No, you're not leaving for, dinner at 7 p.m. because you're going to do it. But at the same time, I get it. You have to go for dinner, you need your personal time.
Yeah.
But you need to learn to balance it. Your business and this, and you know you have to give a sacrifice, and that's going back to what you said before, is that there's a time and place for everything. If you're going to give it to your business, give it to your business. Screw the clubbing. If you want to go clubbing, go clubbing. I had my time, I did my clubbing, I went out, I traveled the world, and everything, but you need
I did not travel the world.
but you will. You and Jeevan, that will be like a thing, like you'll do together. But what I'm saying is that you need a system. So now tomorrow if you email us, you'll get a response within 12 hours. You'll know if you're available or not available. Here's the pricing, here's how to book. Once you've booked, it's passed on to the team. The team now communicates with you. We literally handhold you until the end. And that's how it should be.
Yes.
You know, obviously, yes, there's some clients who need extra hand-holding. Some people don't even want to hear from us until like a few days before.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, the system is there.
Yeah.
The system is there. So tomorrow, if Pavan gets 200 emails, she's ready for it.
Yeah.
You know, if like I'm promoting something, my marketing team is ready for it.
Yeah.
You know, my customer service is ready for it. And I feel like that's one thing that's missing in the industry. We have so many creative people that the whole world is looking towards. Because Canada is amazing. Like Vancouver, this industry, I think
we're very blessed.
We're very blessed
with our market here.
Yeah, and I feel like we are so good creatively, but our backbone is not there. People don't know how to have their email set up. They don't know how to do their marketing. They don't know how to do their accounting. And then when they get an influx of like 200 brides who really like the work, oh, but I didn't hear from him for like 3 weeks. I didn't hear from her for 3 weeks. I didn't have a consultation. That's when they're like, okay, I'm not going to recommend you. And that's when it goes to shit.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the thing that, you know, if I could give one piece of advice to any new person coming in, would be like, you need to get your systems in place.
So that you can find balance in life.
Yeah.
Because I know I did not find balance for a very long time.
Yeah.
Like a very, very long time.
Yeah, and we do. We've all made that mistake, right? made the mistake of like, okay, I wasn't there for I worked on my kids' birthdays.
Oh my gosh, don't even get me started on that.
And so Hannah says to me, she's like, you don't, I wasn't there for her ballet performance, but then I took her to her recitals. I'm like, I'm there for everything you need me to be. But she's like, I want you there for that recital. So what do I do now? I put that in, I don't take a ride. You know? So like that is more important. Because these kids are going to go off to university, whatever. And then it's like, then we're going to be sitting there crying and missing them.
Yes. But, so if you're new to entrepreneurship, or you're an entrepreneur who's like having a baby, I really want you to start thinking about what's important to you and what's the life you want to build. And then start blocking days off on your calendar. And then don't regret it when you miss, and you're going to regret it when you get an inquiry for that day and you can't take it.
Yeah.
Because we have both gone through this,
yeah,
where we're like, okay, firm boundaries, not doing this, and then the inquiry comes in, you're like, do I do this? And then you have to remember why you're saying no.
Yeah.
Because, like, life is gonna go by you so quick.
Yeah.
And years ago, I would have told you work.
Yeah.
But the one thing I can say I regret is not scheduling time off.
Yeah.
Because I could have found work on a different weekend. And at the end of the day, the money I made in that day does not equate to the memories I've missed out on at all.
And I think this definitely goes out to more women than men in the industry. Because,
yes.
You know, the guys...
Expectations are different.
Yeah. Like, you know, you leave and it's like, that's okay, my wife's there, she'll take care of the kids and all of that. I know there's pressures, obviously, to earn and, like, you know, be there. I get that. But it is different when you're a female in this industry.
Yeah. But not only that, but I feel like there's a lot of problems in marriages in the wedding industry.
Yeah.
I have not kept that a secret about my marriage. My marriage suffered a lot. Like anyone who's been in any of my paid programs, I'm very open and honest about how much entrepreneurship affected my marriage, how we separated multiple times because of it, and how eventually I shut down decor to save my marriage. Like I don't keep it a secret because there's not enough brown women out there talking about things like entrepreneurship, the negative effects of it, money and finances, and like there's just so many conversations that we've grown up with being taboo, or oh, we don't talk about that, or we hide that. But they're such important conversations to have.
Yeah. So then, okay, what advice would you give to a new young entrepreneur?
In regards to what?
Oh yeah, in regards to what? To setting up, like, a new business. Like, I want to join the wedding industry. How do I balance it?
If you are starting a business, or you've just started a business, I want you to remember that you determine your value and nobody other than you. And if someone doesn't want to work with that price point, that's okay. I'm not telling you to go charge like ridiculous rates or whatnot, like that. You do you, but never allow someone else to determine your value, because the one thing, the hardest lesson I learned, and I experienced burnout and everything because of it, is when you allow others to take charge of what your value is or what you should be providing, you start losing yourself. And when that continues for a long period of time, there comes a point where you completely lose yourself. And it is very easy to do when you're an entrepreneur and you're a mom who's just trying to balance it all, because you're trying to give, but you can't give from an empty cup. And one of the biggest lessons I've learned in the last 3 years is every time I'd go on a flight, and they always tell you put your oxygen mask on first. And I'm like, what is wrong with you people? There is no way I would put my oxygen mask on before my kid who's sitting right next to me.
Yeah.
And every time I thought that, and after experiencing burnout and just having to build myself back up, the lesson I've learned is, if I don't put on my oxygen mask first, I might save my baby that day, but I won't be around to make sure that they're okay going forward.
Yeah.
Because when we take care of ourselves, we allow ourselves to take care of everyone else.
Yeah.
And being a little selfish and self-love, I think, is a key component of balancing it all.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I was actually talking so I've started doing somatic therapy, and she's just watching my body language. She's like, you close up when you're talking about yourself. And I'm like, I do. I didn't even realize I was doing it. And then she was like, yeah. I said, I just feel like if I decide to go out for dinner or if I do something and it's away from my kids, I feel guilty. She's like, really? I was like, yeah. She's not from the industry, so she was just like, that's crazy. Like, why would you feel like that? I'm like, because in my mind, my work takes me. Here's another thing. I love my job. Okay? It gives me a reason to get up in the morning. I love it so much. So to me, yes, it feels like work, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like work. Yeah. So it's like, so if I'm doing something extra, it feels like I'm taking the mickey. It's like, oh no, I don't have to go out for dinner. I just enjoyed myself at work. So it's messed up. But at the same time, yeah, you're right. Like, so Hannah always asks me, she's like, you like what you do? I'm like, I freaking love it. And that's actually a really big lesson, because then we don't know how much to charge. Because we're like, well, I'm loving it. That was my thing in my head.
Okay, video on charging coming soon.
Yeah. Yeah. But you know what? I'm just saying, it's like, I love my job so much that I'm just like, should I be charging for this? I found it really hard to do that in the beginning. Really hard to charge my brides. I mean, I was, but like to increase my rate and stuff, it didn't seem like work to me.
And it goes right back to my comment about every single woman I have worked with has undervalued herself and doesn't want to charge more because they feel guilty for wanting to charge for something. And that's my client. Like, if that's not you, then you're not the people.
And so that's my fault. But this is actually going back to a comment. So I had a client come in a couple of days ago, and she was dropping off non-bridal deposit. And I said, oh, so who have you got for your wedding? And so I can't remember who she said. And she's like, I was looking at the top 5, and out of my top 5, she's available. And I'm just looking at her, and I'm like, oh, okay. She left, and I'm like, I'm not in the top 5, but I placed my value in what she had to say. And it got me down for a few hours. I was like, I'm not in the top 5. I've been around for 13 years. But then there's some people who I am in the top 5. For some people, they plan their wedding date around me, but I gave her value. And I was like, no, I love my job. I'm good at what I do. I have my brides who want me. I want them. So it goes vice versa now too. And it's like, it doesn't matter. There is no ranking. But it used to be. It used to be, oh, she's the top. She's the top. No, it's not a race anymore. That's a thing. I said this in one of my posts. I'm not here just for the next 5 years. I love my job. I plan to retire from this job. And it's like, once you realize that, that's when you're kind of like, hey, I'm not going to place value in what the other person is saying. I'm placing value in myself. So, and I'm 13 years in, guys, and I'm still learning. So
I'm not even gonna say how long I've been in.
Oh yeah. When
I joined, decades at this point.
When I joined, she was a veteran.
I was a veteran when she started.
Yeah, so she's been around. She's seen it all.
I've seen it all.
Yeah.
I've seen more than my share.
Yeah.
But I think this is a good place to end this.
Yeah.
But learning to love yourself and value yourself is so incredibly important. And sometimes we just need to be surrounded with others that are experiencing what we're experiencing to truly feel like it's okay to do so, because growing up we're given these values and we're this subconsciously we're led to believe things, and then life happens and circumstances happen, but which is one of the main reasons I started Empowered Success Club. So if you are an entrepreneur, a female entrepreneur who's just looking for a community of like-minded entrepreneurs that are looking to do the mindset work, to build your systems, to truly just step into your power and not let others determine your value, check out the description below to find out more about the Empowered Success Club. But with that, thank you, Sharon. Thanks for today. I will, in the intro, you will have seen my makeup totally done, but come back, say hello. Don't forget to let us know what your favorite, let's see, lipstick color. What color am I wearing?
Oh, you're wearing KKW2.
KKW2. Okay, in the comments below, let me know what your favorite lip color is. And if it's not one of the Kardashians, that's okay. I'm totally okay with that.
Totally okay with that.
But I'll see you in the next video. Bye. We're good.
Okay, let me spray you so you have